Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's session of our Simply Funded Money Mondays. Welcome. At Simply Funded, we are your hard money lender nationwide. We help you get the funding that you need for your BRRRR strategy. For those of you who don't know what that means, it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. And if you need any other kind of funding, we are here for you as well with regards to real estate. So give us a thumbs up as you are coming in, like the video. And I've got a special guest with me today. Her name is Terre Holmes. She is a realtor. She is a real estate investor. She's doing some major things with regards to building wealth, especially building Black wealth and using real estate in order to do that and the power of leverage in order to do that. So first of all, Cheree, welcome to the show.
Hey, and thank you. So happy to be here.
So
So,
what do
so
you think
happy.
of Money Monday? Like, what do you do on Money Mondays to really kind of get things started?
Please, girl, every day is Money Monday for me. Every day is a Money Monday. I literally, maybe about, I don't know, maybe let's just say 6 months ago, I started taking off on Sundays.
Ah,
Because as much as I possibly can. So I put on my calendar Sunday like no work. And that's my day. Hang out with family, friends, maybe do a little cleaning, just do, self-care stuff. And part of that self-care is, having relationships and
mhm.
and and taking time for those. But I say that to say that truly I have not designated a day for Money Monday, for making
Girl,
money on that,
you
right?
got
Because
to start
every
Money
day.
Monday.
So I do. I really do. Rachel Rogers. I think it's Rachel. Rachel, she has this day. I forgot what she calls it, but she's like on Fridays. You set aside a day where you're just thinking about ways to generate income, new
Uh-huh.
income, right? And she calls it something specific. And so truly, I need to set aside one day that's like a money focused day. But
Mhm.
today ain't the day because
Well,
today
I will
ain't the
tell
day.
you. So I will
Go
tell you
ahead.
where Money Monday came from. So I
Yes.
was a business plan writer, as my audience knows, for
Hmm.
many years. And on Money Monday, that was a time I would set aside in order to follow up with all of my prospects. So I called it
Mm.
Money Monday because I knew if somebody says, "Hey, Cheree, I'm about to sign up with you," that it was about 2 to 3 weeks before the money came
Oh, I love
before the
it.
money came in. So, like Money Monday, literally, I would sit down and everybody who was like in open, I was so old school. I had like a file folder of
Hmm.
people, and I would go through my sheets of initial contacts with people and say, okay,
Yep.
let me follow up with this person, follow up this person. And I would take my notes down. This was like old school back in 2014,
Girl, I'm still
planning
old
for
school. I'm still
2015.
notes.
But that's how Money Monday came about. And
Mm.
and when I was at the height of my business plan business, I
Hmm.
was doing Money Monday consistently. So now
Mm.
in real estate, Money Monday is following up with all of my prospects, as you know, but also following up with people like you, people who are realtors, people who are active investors, etc. And I spend probably about now it's half a day, but eventually get to 3 quarters of the day just following up with people. Beginning of the week, what are you doing this week?
Mm.
What are you
I
building
love
this week?
it.
How can I help you build this week? Is there somebody you need to contact? Etc. So
Mm.
that's the new morphing of Money
Let me
Monday.
tell you something. I call myself.
Give her a second, everybody. Tawana is in the building. Hello, and hello, Selfish Love.
Okay.
It was nice chatting with you yesterday, Selfish Love. Go ahead, Teray.
So I was going to say, I was saying technology is great when it works, but what I was going to also say is that I knew I should have grabbed my notebook. I
Well,
knew
this
you were going to
this
drop
was
drop a
recorded,
gem for me.
so This is recorded, so
No,
you can get it on our YouTube channel or, Facebook.
absolutely.
But let's talk about
Uh,
you a little bit. So,
yeah.
how long have you been in real estate? What are you doing currently in real estate? Like, give everybody,
Okay.
a couple of minutes worth of information about you.
So I call myself the money maximizer because I teach mostly black and brown people, but all people, how to maximize their money through real estate investing. So they have
Hmm.
options, not opposition when they're creating their financial future. And I started in real estate in 2005, I believe, 2004 or 5. And I
Hmm.
bought my first property on the south side of Chicago. I was an entrepreneur at the time and, just really wanted to buy something. And I bought a two flat and I learned a lot and I made some money. I sold it right before the recession and I was able to make. Oh, so that was definitely before 2005. I think I bought that maybe 2003 or something. But anyway, I was able to profit about $35,000. I held it for about a year and a half, put a little work into it, learned how to, do all of I got a ladder and, drill and all. I just had everything, right? That's where I learned all this stuff. And so anyway, so I came into real estate, that was my first property. And I was an investor, of course, because I had a two flat. I sold that quickly, and then I did not buy anything else for a long time. I got my real estate license in 27. Let me back up. I was a classroom teacher and a college professor in Chicago. So right after that, I was an entrepreneur, classroom teacher, and college professor all at the same time. I had three jobs. Okay, and so I left teaching in 2015, and I got my real estate license in 2017. And I knew then that I wanted to be an investor. I didn't know how. I knew what, but I didn't know how. I knew that I didn't want to sell traditional real estate, that I didn't want to, working with buyers and sellers per se, unless I was teaching people how to buy, because that teacher in me never left me. And so, anyway, long story short, I went through a terrible divorce in 2017, and a very short marriage and a very you know painful divorce. And that divorce really, it was my blessing in disguise, because that divorce really like shifted me. It changed my perspective on a lot of things. One, because I lost everything. I ended up losing so much, just because of the stress of the divorce and everything else that was happening during that time. And so I decided to go to real estate school. I got my real estate license in 2017, came into real estate, wanted to be an investor, didn't know how. Fast forward, pandemic happens. And right before the pandemic in 2019, I taught myself something called real estate wholesaling. I already was an agent. I wasn't doing much with my license. And I kept hearing about this real estate wholesaling, real estate wholesaling. So I said, let me, find out what that's about. And so I went on YouTube University and I started teaching myself how to wholesale real estate. And 2 months later, I landed my first deal. I made $6,500, which was not a lot, but it was decent,
Hmm.
for a first deal.
Not bad for a
And
first deal. Yeah.
and then after that, every deal I did, I averaged about 15K per deal. And I was like on a roll. And then COVID happened and business needed to shift. And I had a lot of loss myself, not because of COVID, but just my grandmother, my uncle passed away 2 weeks in the same 2 week period. And I fell into a depression and business sort of suffered a bit. COVID was going on, that was going on. I suffered a bit. And then I had to sort of regroup, right? I had to regroup and find myself again. And so I decided in 2023, I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but in
Hmm.
2023, I was living in Maryland, where you and I met. I'm in Cleveland right now today. This is Cleveland back here, but where I'm from originally. But I was in Maryland and I wasn't sure if I wanted to move. The year prior, and full transparency, the year prior and the year prior to that, I had lost a lot again. I lost my car. I lost my apartment because I just couldn't keep up. I was mentally drained. I was overwhelmed. I was dealing with a lot of grief and trauma, and just it was dealing with me.
Hmm.
And I let a lot of things go. I lost a lot of things. So in 2022, I moved in with a very good friend, And I did a Facebook Live the other night, and I talked about that period of time in my life when I moved in with her, because I felt like a failure. I felt like I had failed myself. Like it was just, I was so disappointed in myself for that. But as a result of moving in with her, I gained new perspective and I gained new patience for myself. And it gave me time to dig in and to really get things back in order and to really find my way again. And so, sometimes in order to get over, you got to step back,
Yeah.
right? You can't see through a mountain. You can't see over a mountain standing right up on the mountain. You got to step all the way back. And so me moving in with her was me stepping all the way back and looking at that mountain of my life. And then I was able to see over it. Oh, wow, this is what's over the mountain, right?
Mhm.
So, and in January of this year, I did two things that were very significant. One, I attended a vision board party and I created 4 vision boards for my life. And they were very extravagant because I just like extravagance.
And
So
sometimes
I
they tell us what's on the vision board. Yes.
so I created these 4 vision boards, and I remember being in the room with these ladies as I was creating it, and we got to a point where it was time to share. And I sort of unapologetically apologized for how extravagant my vision boards were, right? I was like, I know this is extravagant, but this is what I want. And on the vision board was just this lifestyle that I knew I wanted, right?
Mhm.
And it wasn't just about things, it was about experiences. And so, anyway, long story short, so I did those 4 vision boards. And then I also made myself a promise and a goal to start attending networking events every week. I said, I'm going to attend one every single week so that I can grow my network in Maryland because I was thinking about leaving. I was
Mhm.
like, I think I'm going to leave. I think I'm going to move to Cali. I wasn't sure. And so I attended a networking event on I think it was the 12th of January. And it was the Cashflow Breakfast Club with Amni Casey, which you and I,
Yes,
that's
which
where
we
we
know. And
eventually
he's
met,
been on our
right?
podcast before. Yes.
Look, okay, awesome. And so I'm so jealous Amni got here before me, but that's another story. So anyway,
That's because you're a globetrotter. I was able to
I
get in
know,
first.
I know, I know, I know. I mean, girl. So I attended his event and I didn't know him.
Mhm.
And one of the things that was on my vision board, it was this quote that says, "When in doubt, grow."
Mhm.
It is a reminder to me every single day when I look at it, when I'm doubting something, when I'm afraid of something, when I'm questioning something, is it an opportunity for Terre to grow?
Mhm.
So that quote was so profound for me. So when the meetup ended that evening, the meetup was just so well done, and it was just executed like with perfection. And Amnai is just such a great teacher, and he has such great energy. And I was like, wow, that's what I've been missing. Let me back up just a tad bit. So, over the past year, I have been trying to put together my own subscription membership. And the membership was for women of color to learn how to invest in real estate, to learn how
Mhm.
to wholesale, to learn how to invest based on all the things I have been learning and
Mhm.
teaching myself and learning from the investors whom I was working with.
Mhm.
But I could not get these women. I couldn't get people to commit. People I knew, people I was meeting. I couldn't get them to commit. I couldn't get them interested. I couldn't get that ball rolling, and I was frustrated. I was burnt out. I was broke, and my spirit was becoming broken, and I just couldn't get these people to commit. I couldn't get anyone to say yes, and I don't care where the price point was. I couldn't get yeses. So I said to Ray, you know what you know. You're a great teacher. You know what you know,
Mhm.
and you're going to find a way to get your message out and to connect with your tribe because your
Right.
tribe is out there.
Right.
So when Omni did his presentation that evening, at the end of the night, I was like, oh my God,
Mhm.
this is it. I knew I wanted to lead. And I remember when I was married, I was living in Huntsville, Alabama, and I was part of the Rotary Club. And I remember going to the Rotary Club, and there was this judge who came to speak, this African American woman, and she spoke, and she said, if you don't concern yourself with who gets the credit, you can do amazing things in life. And I remembered that when I decided, when Amni got to the end of the presentation, and he says, I'm looking for people to start up their memberships, to start up clubs in their county.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm doing this. I don't know this guy. I don't know what the heck this is. I thought I was moving to California, but I guess I'm going to be in Maryland, or I'm going to figure out a way. Like, right? I'm going to figure out a way. I'm doing this because all I knew is I wanted to teach what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to teach what I knew. I knew I wanted to connect with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I didn't care who got the credit.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I just wanted to make an impact, and I wanted to expand my network, which expands my net worth, right?
Yes.
So so I decided to create my own club in Montgomery County, Maryland, and
Mm-hmm.
I supported that, and I brought on Sharon as my partner to do it, and we launched our first one in March of
Yes. Which
2023.
I was there.
You were there for the first
Yes.
one?
I was there for the first one. Yeah.
Yes, and you were girl, you just warmed my heart because you were just like giving so much encouragement and love from the stage. I mean, from the
Yes.
audience. I was like, yes,
Yeah. Well, you know what?
sis,
Talisha introduced us.
yes,
And you said, I'm having this event. Come. It was like the next week or something like that. I'm like,
yes,
yeah, sure. So
yep,
that
yep.
was, yeah, I was there.
So anyway, so we did that one in March, and we did it in May. We did it in March, April, May. I came back home to Cleveland for my niece's graduation. Didn't participate. June, I come, and one of the things that we do at the meetup is that we have people to connect with, a couple of people in the room, five
Mhm.
people in the room or so,
Mhm.
and after that, you're supposed to get back with them.
Yes.
Um, Terre is going to catch a flight and make a move.
Yeah, selfish love is very encouraging. My all of my ladies are on one of my channels called Black Women Making Money. So
I love it.
yes.
So after the June meeting, which was about June 22nd, 23rd, I met up with one of the people who came. This was his first time coming. His name was Dennis.
Mhm.
He and I met a week later. Now I had met up other people and I had told them what I wanted to do, but nobody was biting. Nothing was
Mhm.
biting, right? And I'm saying this because, ladies, like, you think sometimes that you don't have a great idea, or you think sometimes that you have to have all the money. All you have to do is have the vision, right?
Mhm.
But what I have also learned is that you have to have the vision and then trust the universe to uh, help you manifest it. That's it. Just trust. So I meet with Dennis a week later, the end of June, and Dennis and I have our meetup, our coffee date, because that's what we encourage people to do.
Mhm.
And we want to know during these meetups, like, what do you bring to a deal? Are you the deal maker? Are you
Mhm.
the deal finder? Are you the deal funder? Well, in deals, I'm typically the deal finder and the deal maker. Like, I can
Mhm.
find the deal and I can I can structure that deal for you. But
Mhm.
I don't bring the money. So anyway, Dennis and I met up and we had a Zoom call, and we basically asked each other that question. He's like, Teresa, what are you looking to do? Like, I said, I want to do these Airbnbs. Like, I used to do it in Chicago. It was really successful. And so he told me what he wanted to do. He was house hacking. He's house hacking at the time. And he said, well, do you have the money? I said, no, I don't have the money. I don't have the credit. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have any money. Let's not say a lie. I ain't had none. Okay. I said, and my credit's jacked. Okay. But I know what I want. Okay. And
Mhm.
I'm being fully transparent. So, but I know a lot. And
Mhm.
what's here is very valuable. And we
Mhm.
discredit this so much. And we think the person that brings the money is the commodity. What you know here, that's money right there. So anyway, I said, well, Dennis, what do you bring? And he was like, I don't have any money. I was like, okay, let's see what we're gonna do about this. He said, but I have great credit. I said, tell me more. And so he's like, I have great credit and I'm willing to use it to get what we need. And I was like, oh, okay. So we met in person because we hadn't met in person. This was over Zoom. We met in person a few days later, and we wanted to know if we vibed. And I
Mhm.
should mention that Dennis is from El Salvador. He's a young man, much younger than me. And I
Mhm.
say all this to say he's a young Spanish, Latin
You
man.
never know.
You never
Never know.
know.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so Dennis and I met up and we just really hit it off. We had very similar interests. We decided we were going to do Airbnb, start up our Airbnb arbitrage business together.
Mhm.
and that was at the end of June. And what we're at the beginning of September, we have over 100,000 in business credit. We have 3 units. 2 are in a luxury building, which I'm sitting in one of them right now,
Fantastic.
and we have a house. So we have a house, a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house, which is 1 block away from Cleveland Clinic, and then we have 2 apartments in this luxury building, which is Cleveland Clinic is
Mhm.
this way, and then University Hospital is this way. So if you hear any sirens, that's because we sit right between 2 hospitals. One is
So
a
you
research
need some
hospital.
midterm rentals with some travel nurses in there then.
Yeah, ma'am. So what we do is our building is very unique.
Mhm.
Most of our guests come from out of the country, and they come because they're having procedures done at Cleveland Clinic,
Yeah.
and and they're foreigners from China, from the Middle East, and I used to live in the Middle East, and
Mhm.
so we have very high end clients, and we rent our properties at a luxury, at a premium, and so that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. So I missed our meetup this month because I have been here for a month so far, literally furnishing 2 apartments from nothing, from scratch. We have a soft launch party on this Sunday. Dennis flies in from DC on Sunday, and we're just super excited. But to tell me, when I sat in that room at my girlfriend's house, I was depressed, I was
Mhm.
down, and I was like, if you don't get back up, if you don't remember who you are, if you don't remember whose you are, if you don't remember that you have created such amazing things in your life and you're going to do even better than what you've done, if you don't get it together, girl, you better. I had to have that type of conversation with myself because
Mhm.
for me, I had hit rock bottom and there was nowhere else to go but up.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. And I made a commitment, got out there, started networking. I also have a couple of women who come to our meetup who have literally, they're sitting on money waiting for me to find an investment property for all of us
Mhm.
to invest in. And none of this would have been possible had I not bet on myself. I mean,
I
none
love
of
that.
it.
But I will say one thing to you and to everybody who is listening. I think that the first investor that you have being a Hispanic male,
Mhm.
sometimes your blessing does not come in the package that you think it's going to come in. You said he was younger, Hispanic male, and from outside of the country. He's from El Salvador, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But um, look at what you have access to now. Now you are an international businesswoman with an international business partner doing
Yes.
international business at a premium,
Yes.
whereas if you had, and the reason I'm saying this to everybody who's listening is because sometimes you have on such blinders. Now, we want to have on a little bit of
Yeah.
blinders because we don't want to just be all over the place.
Hmm.
But sometimes God will trick you and you think you're looking for A and the package comes in B, and yet you're like, well, it doesn't look like A, so that's not it. And it's like, no,
Ma'am.
especially for the fact that you said that he said, well, I don't have any money either. You could have been like, well, I'm not meeting with you, but you didn't do
Let me
that,
tell you
right?
something.
You were like, oh, well, let's see how this is going to go. And it may have gone nowhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fact that you said, well, let me continue to be open and see what else is here,
Hmm.
I think is a very important thing. It's a very important lesson that we all need to be aware of in our lives. And I have seen my friend Shar come in the building. Hello, Shar. Good to see you. She's saying greetings.
Hey, Char.
Um,
Greetings.
Selfish love is saying, I love that perspective. Is this a way for me to grow? I loved that
Yes.
as well. And
Hmm.
then Shar also was asking about you talking about the real estate market in Cleveland. So
Okay.
selfish love is moving from accounting to real estate development. So she's
Perfect.
telling us that
So,
last night, and she is trying to soak up as much information as possible.
girl,
So,
girl,
yes.
listen. Okay, so to your point about how the package comes wrapped, right? Um, all I wanted to do, because historically I have served Black women, or
Mhm.
women, let's just say women. I'm a speaker, you know, I've spoken at many conferences, events, all of this, but it was always serving women. I always want to serve women, serve women, serve women. And when I started talking about real estate, what I learned about why they weren't biting is because I was really trying to serve Black women. And we are still so afraid
Mm-hmm.
to get into this space. We are underrepresented in this space. We have so much fear about our money. We have fear about taking these risks because it's a risk. Real estate is risky. And I didn't understand that coming in. I just knew I wanted to help them understand and get this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But God spoke to me and was like, listen, leave them alone. Go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go create for yourself, then come back to them. Because sometimes they want to see such major success first
Yes.
before they. So, and sometimes they look at you like, well, you ain't done blah, blah, blah. I don't care what you know. But the difference between them and Dennis was that Dennis knew that what I knew was priceless.
Mm-hmm.
That Dennis didn't know how to get business credit. I knew how to get business credit, but
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get business credit because I didn't have good credit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have good credit to get business credit in some
True.
instances, right? So this man took a risk with me, and
Mm-hmm.
I took a leap of faith in him because he speaks English, but we come from two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to think outside the box and be open because God's going to send you somebody that may not look like how you think they're going to look, talk like how you think they're going to talk, or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I just wanted to say that. But to your question about is it selfish love? About the Cleveland market, it is booming. It was already booming. Like pre-COVID, you could get great real estate properties. Investors literally want to see like a 1% cash on a 1% return every single year or month on their investment. So, say for instance, they buy a property for 100,000, they want to see $1,000 a month. In
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, you used to be able to see like 2,000 a month on that $100,000 property. It has changed a lot because when I tell you everybody is investing in Cleveland, and most of the people who are investing here don't live here.
Mm-hmm.
It is a boom market. I've been here for the last couple of months and I am in awe. I'm driving down the street like, what in the world? The growth is phenomenal. All types of new builds, new developments, new this, new it is unbelievable. And it's not us. It's
Yeah,
not us.
but so have said to everybody, but specifically my ladies and Black women making money, is that we have to have multicultural networks. So we are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman at Black Women Making Money, and we're just like, look, we're going to have multicultural networks, and we are here to level up through knowing diverse groups of people. I
Yes.
also believe that there are probably a lot of Black women who are looking at your journey and you don't even know who they are. They're just looking to see, where you go, what you do, etc. And at some point in the future, they will raise their hand and say, "Hey, now I'm really interested in learning more and working with you. I've been observing you for the past couple of years," is what they'll say. So that will
And
come around, and um, the final thing I've always just say to people, especially like you, because I've been there before,
mhm.
is you can't save everybody, and stop. Don't if you try to, it will destroy you.
Take you down.
It'll
Yeah.
take you down.
It's like
Destroy
trying
you.
to save someone who can't swim.
Exactly.
And that's what I was feeling like, Cheree.
Hmm.
I was feeling like I was trying to save Black women and they couldn't swim. And I was just being pulled down further and further and further.
Hmm.
And something was like, Terre, stop it.
Yeah,
Stop it. Put your
it's
life
not
jacket
worth
on
it.
first.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
It's not worth it right now. And what I believe, it wasn't worth it right now because I needed to help myself. I
Hmm.
was doing what I had always done. I was trying to save other people before I put on my own life jacket. And I
Hmm.
needed to put my life jacket on first.
That's right.
And that's what God was really showing me. Teray, put your life jacket on first.
Hmm.
And the rate at which Dennis and I are moving and growing, it's phenomenal. But in addition to that, you talk about that international network. As a result of me joining this, start choosing to join or to start this our real estate meetup. Got my tongue all twisted. The real estate meetup, Cash Flow Breakfast Club. The two women, there are three women who are ready to invest with me. One is Filipino, and the other two are from Ethiopia. and they got money, and they're
Mhm.
ready. And they're
Mhm.
like, listen to Ray. I'm like, well, how much do we have? And one woman was like, well, I have 50,000. She was like, but I can get more. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I got 3 or 4 women sitting on over 100,000, more than, let's say almost $200,000
Mhm.
waiting for me for an investment.
Mhm.
It's like
The
that.
money I spoke to a black couple last week who has mid six figures in the 1031 exchange. So the money is out there.
It's out there.
Um, if you are not networking, which I want to come back to this because again, Black women making money, we have been really going over networking and the importance of networking. And I've been helping the ladies. And last night we even had a session where I did a whole bunch of Q&A about networking. And Esoteric Career Woman is here saying,
I
thank you,
just have,
me.
yeah,
Your networking tips have helped so much to catch you again next month. So thank you, first of all, for being in the audience last night. We had a
yes.
fabulous time. So, anybody who is not on my email list, if you're an upwardly mobile Black woman, that's what we call ourselves at Black Women Making Money. You can join the email list for free, bwmakingmoney.com. Once a month, we have a Zoom session that is not aired anywhere where we take a specific piece of information and we look at it from our point of view. You also get a weekly newsletter every Wednesday with information on it or in it that is not like shared on YouTube or public platforms, just some of my thoughts with
Hmm.
regards to what's happening in the world of money. So I love the fact that you, Terre, said that you made a commitment to network once a week. I think that is so important. If people live in any kind of metropolitan area, or you live in the suburbs and you can get to a metropolitan area, there is no reason why you are not networking at least twice a month.
Yep.
Industry events, meeting with your peers. I always tell people to meet with their boss's boss or your future boss's boss,
Hmm.
meeting with people who are in real estate, for example. There are a whole lot, especially in the DMV area, there are a whole
Yeah.
lot of real estate meetings. You could
Hmm.
go practically 3 times a week and meet people continuously.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit more about your networking and why you chose the once a week, and then how you actually network in order to do your deals, in order to find properties, etc.
So, hopefully I won't look too crazy when I take these glasses off
Oh,
because
you
that's a
look
little.
beautiful. You
No,
look
I'm saying looking crazy because my um I see the glare on my glasses,
beautiful.
and so I'm squinting a little bit. But
Okay.
anyway, so I learned this from Business Networking International (BNI).
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then we repeat it sort of in our Cash Flow Breakfast Club meetup.
Hmm.
You want to find out what the person needs right now.
Hmm.
And then you want to also tell people what you need right now, right?
Hmm.
So let's say so this is one of my networking tips. So let's just say, for instance, we're looking for more hosts who have luxury homes that they would like to rent to us to do our luxury Airbnb short-term rental business,
Hmm.
right? So that's what I would say to you. Hey, Cheree, so I run this company, Oasis Luxury Living, and we provide short-term and mid-term rental to discerning travelers. Who do you know who has a home that fits that luxury standard? That's probably already furnished that they would love to, lease to us at a
Hmm.
premium cost. So you want to be very specific. So
Hmm.
when people ask you what you do is boring. What you do, and not what you do is boring, but just to say what you do, that won't get you to the money.
Hmm.
What gets you to the money is saying what you need right now, right? So, say for instance, I'm an insurance person, and we know that like Ubers are just booming. I may say to someone, they say, "What do you do?" Well, I'm insurance, but what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for people who are Uber drivers who need specific insurance that I can insure. Who do you know who's riding Uber who may need to talk to me to get a better price on their insurance?
And then I think everybody I know that's doing Uber, right? Like my mentally,
Exactly.
yeah,
Now your
mentally
brain
I
goes
go
to
through.
work
Mhm.
for me.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where I was struggling in networking for years until I came across BNI. And
Mm-hmm.
then specifically now that I'm running my own meetup, the Cashflow Breakfast Club, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very specific about my needs. So
Mm-hmm.
if somebody says, well, what do you do? I'm not saying, oh, I'm an investor or I'm a realtor. No, what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm looking for properties that are with owners that are distressed. What do I mean by distressed? Maybe the property is vacant. Maybe the
Mm-hmm.
property was in a fire. Maybe the property has been sitting for years and the family doesn't have the money to fix it up, or it's in probate,
Right.
or someone just died and they want to get rid of this property. And I'm saying this right now because this is what I'm really looking for.
She's looking for deals,
Right?
everybody. She's looking
I'm
for
looking for
deals.
deals anywhere in the country,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I'm out networking, I'm being specific about what my need is, but I'm also asking you specifically, what do you need right now? What are
Mm-hmm.
you working on? What's important to you in your business right now? Right? So
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes a give and take,
Yes.
because everybody wants to experience with them. The question is with them, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, what is in it for me to have this conversation with you? So, you have to get straight to the point in networking.
Yeah.
And that happens maybe not in the live, open community. Maybe that's the follow up because the fortune's in the follow up. Maybe that's the follow up, the coffee chat. But
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you follow up that week. I literally will text people that night or first thing the next morning. Hey, nice to meet you. And then I send them my Blink link with my link on it that says schedule a meeting with Cheree. Hey, nice
Mm-hmm.
to meet you. Can you click on my link to schedule some time for us to do a Zoom? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a 15, 20-minute Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Do it immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. So those are some of my tips and some of what I do to network. And I wasn't always comfortable in those rooms. People may think that I am, but I wasn't always. And most of the rooms I end up in are mostly men. And I actually prefer rooms with mostly men because I work rooms very well with men because
Mm-hmm.
men are just, they're little creatures of habit. And they just want to see a, good looking woman, smiling at them, talking to them,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I had to get really comfortable in those rooms. And I am. I'm super comfortable in that space because I continuously do it over and over and over.
Yeah. And I think that by you networking once a week, you get better and better at articulating what it is that you're looking for. And the interesting thing, at least I know for me, is that I'm getting better and better at knowing the things that I'm not looking for because I will say something and then somebody brings it to me and I'm like, no, that wasn't
No.
what I was looking for. Maybe I need to or I think so. I'll give you a great example. I was telling people for a while that I was like a money matchmaker, right? Where,
Yeah.
if somebody needed money for something that I, have resources and match them together.
Yeah.
And within 2 days, I got two people coming and asking me about container homes. Well, turns out that my sources do not fund container homes. So
Hmm.
now I'm like, okay, as you were saying here, I probably want to, and I had a mentor who was like, Cheree, you're kind of doing things the hard way. Maybe
Hmm.
you want to shift and do things a little bit easier. So now I'm like, okay, these are like, I'm very effective at the BRRRR strategy with
Yeah.
regards to helping people get funding for their fix and flip as long as,
Hmm.
certain things
The
are in
numbers are
line,
right.
and then
Yep.
helping people refi out. So now I'm
Hmm.
like, maybe I just concentrate on that. I want to help 200 people over the next 12 months start the burst strategy, right?
Right.
Find their first property, get it fixed, get it flipped, get it rented. Sorry, get it fixed, get it rented out, and then
Renovate
we
it, get
start
it
the refi
renovated.
process.
So
Yes.
yep, get it fixed right. Renovate it,
Yeah,
rent
and
it out,
renovate it and
refi,
rent it out.
repeat. Yep.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So
Absolutely. Hmm.
I kind of said, okay, um, I think I'm going to kind of narrow in on that.
Hmm.
It's like one of the two things, one of the two groups of people I'm going after are
Right.
people who want to just do a burr. Like, Cheree, I've heard about burr. I've never done one before. All I want
Absolutely.
to do is like one full cycle of a burr. And then let's do that 10 times. You've got 10 doors. And actually,
Yes.
by the time somebody gets to their third purchase, they're usually buying fourplexes, 5, 6, 7, 8 units.
Absolutely.
I can
Yep.
I can go on up as high as they want to go. So
Yeah.
I want to have long-term relationships with people who want to burr in order
Absolutely.
to, yeah, in order to build wealth. So um, I want to come here because there's a couple of comments here. The esoteric career woman is saying, if we've never owned a home before, is our networking strategy going to be relevant to what everyone else is looking for? Something about just saying, I want to own a house seems flat. Um,
Hmm.
so
Um,
I don't think that's flat. I think that you will have all sorts of realtors and all sorts of mortgage brokers like, ooh, I can help you with that. But maybe getting clear about what part of town you're looking in.
can
Are
I
you looking? Go ahead.
I want to interject on that
Yeah.
because so she mentioned networking strategy and then she
Mhm.
combined it with going there and talking about buying a house.
Mhm.
I would not go to a networking event to say I want to buy a house. I wouldn't go to a network because a networking event, let's just say it's a general networking event, right? Let's
Mhm.
just say it's an open networking event. You have to have something very specific that you need. So, say for
Mhm.
instance, I want to buy a house, but I don't have the money. So my specific may be when I'm going to this open networking event. Hey, I'm looking to invest in some property. I'm looking for private lenders
Mhm.
who invest who want to invest in say like a multifamily or something like that. I'm looking for private lenders. Who do you know that's a private lender that I could talk to?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or if you're looking to buy a house and you're looking to buy it with creative financing. So you might say something like what I would say, hey, who do you know who has a house right now that they really need to get out of, that's vacant, that's whatever. Like you have to find, and the reason why it sounds flat is because you have to be very specific. You got to niche that
Mhm.
down because otherwise you could just call a realtor if you just want to buy a house.
Yeah.
If you just want to buy a house, you say, oh, I want to buy a house. But if
Yeah.
you want to network, be specific in what you want when you go out to network. And it may not even be about buying a house. It may be about something else that you need in your business. But I'm just saying, be very specific.
Yeah. So I guess when I read that, I was thinking esoteric that you were saying you wanted to buy a house to live in. So that's different if you want to buy a house to invest in, right?
Yes.
I
Even
will.
still,
Mhm.
I would say the same thing for both because you don't have to buy houses with traditional funding and money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And a wholesaler can help you find a house just as quickly and even probably a better house than a realtor can help you find. You have to know specifically what you want because a couple of my friends who own houses, they did not use a traditional bank to buy their houses, and half the time they didn't even use their own money to buy their houses.
Mhm.
So you have to
They did creative
know,
finance. Yeah.
yeah, they did creative financing. So you just have to know specifically what do I need? If I were looking for a house and I didn't have money because I know that that was my situation, then I would be looking for something very different. And so I'm just saying, just be specific. That's all I'm saying,
Yeah.
Cheree.
Yeah. No, no, no. I agree with that. I do think that if you're buying a house for yourself, you want to be specific about what zip code you want to be in, what area of
Hmm.
town, getting specific about those things as well.
Right.
So
Yep.
Esoteric also said, thanks for saying it. Predominantly male environments are an advantage. I can navigate in both personally, but men tend to be a lot more direct, and
They
women tend
do.
to, yes, and women
I
tend
love that.
um, to speak around a situation. So you just need to know who you're talking to and like, am I going to get it straight? And a lot of Black women actually do give it to you straight as well,
Black women
or
give it to you straight about certain things. They
about
don't give it
certain
to you
things.
straight when it comes to their money.
Well, no, they won't give it to you straight when it comes to their
No,
money, but they will when
no.
it comes to other things. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Black
Uh,
women like so I want to tell you this, I want to tell your audience. I'm actually creating something called Money Talk, and
uh-huh.
I'm actually going to be touring around and having this open discussion about money with an audience. And
Mhm.
so this is a passion project that I'm working on because I want us talking about money,
I love it.
particularly in our community. Yep. So I'm actually working on it now. And so it's going to be, I cannot wait to introduce this and go to different cities and states and go to different places, different forums, and actually have these conversations about money.
Hmm. I love that. Samry is in the building saying niche retail spaces are great. They can
Yes.
be. They can be.
Yep. Yep.
Right now, commercial is having some weird issues, but there's going to be a lot of commercial real estate on sale as well as these balloon
That's what I was
payments
about to
start
say.
happening.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you've got your coins together, then you can be in a great position to pick up something for half price, really.
Mm-hmm.
Great message about being open to global partnerships. And Samry, you've been on this channel for a while. You know that we are all about the global partnerships. We partner with anybody and everybody as long as they are aligned with us. I love the idea of money talk. I love the idea of us having real conversations. I wish when I were in my early 20s and just getting started, especially, that we had more talks about. So I was in my early 20s in the late 90s. Um, just as the internet was starting to get popular and things like that. So we really didn't talk about things like salary negotiation, how much money you should be expecting at the job, um, real information about career tracks, right? You know, everyone's just like start at the bottom and work your way up, but you never really got information about that. Real conversations about entrepreneurship and the fact that entrepreneurship is a skill. And I always tell the ladies that, even our real estate businesses are skilled businesses. Do we have the skill of um, generating leads? Because a lead is a motivated seller, it's a motivated property, et cetera. Do we have the negotiation skills? Do we have the network to be able to get the funding? Can we close? Can we, like what you're dealing with the Airbnbs, can we find individuals to come and pay a premium price for those properties? All of those things are skills. And we have to like really focus on increasing those skills. So going back to your money talks, I love that. I love the fact that we are going to have, hopefully, I'm sure you're going to do this, candid conversations where people don't have to feel embarrassed about, hey, I don't know these things. The final thing
Yes.
I'll say about money talk, there's a woman that I know who had $1 million business. She was a
Mm-hmm.
white woman, $1 million business. And at the time, I was working with my mom in her bookkeeping business, and she asked me to come and just help her understand her profit and loss statement and her balance sheet. And she said to me after we were done, I like explained everything to her in layman's terms. This is what this means, this is what this means, etc. She said to me, "Thank you so much for explaining this to me. I would have never gone to a class to learn what this stuff meant. But
Mm.
speaking to you one on one, I felt comfortable, you know, talking with you, asking you questions, etc." And again, this is a woman with a seven-figure business. So
Mm.
we think that just because people are making money, that they know about money, and that's
Yes.
not the case.
No.
Um, but when we match those things together, when we're making money and we know about money, we have great financial literacy, great business financial literacy, then we
Mm-hmm.
can go very far. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. That money conversation is so important. We don't have enough of those conversations um, around our dinner tables, and that's where it
Mhm,
starts,
mhm,
right? And the conversations that we do have are typically conversations of lack. There are a lot of lack conversations that go on, particularly in our community. And
mhm,
to have very powerful conversations about money, how to generate money, what money is really used for, the
mhm.
power of money, um, you
What
know,
wealth looks like,
what
because
wealth looks like.
because it's not Instagram.
It's not. And wealth does not look like the latest handbag or the latest, car. That's not what wealth is. The wealthiest people I know, I used to date this guy, and he used to say, because he was the same way. He said wealthy people wear their labels on the inside.
Sure.
Wealthy people, you don't see them with like wealthy people. You don't see them with Louis all over the place and Gucci, and that's fine if that's your thing. That's great. But wealthy people, many wealthy people, you never know they're wealthy because their labels are on the inside. Their cars are not, the most glamorous cars. If you read the book, the Millionaire Next Door, and it talks
Sounds
about,
familiar.
yeah, that the people that you would not even think are the millionaires, those are the millionaires,
Hmm.
right? And so that's not what wealth looks like.
Yeah.
Wealth doesn't look like spending everything on material things. Wealthy people have very wealthy experiences,
That's true.
right? And so yeah, so I cannot wait to have this conversation. That's why I can't wait to be done with these Airbnbs because I'm going to have the first one very soon. But even once I'm done with these next three Airbnbs that we have, there's going to be some more because we're scaling pretty fast. So we'll be adding even more, like every 2 months, every month or two, we're going to be adding more and more Airbnbs to our portfolio because our plan then is to start buying. So we're actually looking for properties to buy too. But once we scale to maybe about five, then we're going to start buying property too.
Okay. Hey, Doug, in the building.
Yes,
So,
Doug.
yes, they are wearing
JC
JC
Penney.
Penney.
Okay.
So I will tell you, one of the wealthiest men, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I knew him back in the day. And this is like a guy that had legit money, wore a Mickey Mouse watch. Like, there are people you pass in Target and would never know that they have real money. And when you really um, are around people who have real money, and because my mother and I were bookkeepers, my mother is still a bookkeeper. Like,
Hmm.
I've seen people's books and then I've seen them, so I know how things
Yep.
match up, right?
Yep. Hmm.
One of the other wealthy guys I know, my mother and I know, he's like this tobacco chewing, I want to call him a redneck, but
Yeah.
like that type of person, you would never know that this guy is loaded, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you really can't judge a book by its cover. And
No.
as we are doing real estate investing, never judge a book by its cover. The people you would least suspect sitting on seven figures, able to invest in your projects, they're the people you would least expect. So, you treat everybody with kindness and respect. A lot of times, those people will never like make the first move when they initially see you. They're going to watch you from a distance for a
Hmm.
long time.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, they come up to you a year later as you're talking about the third project that you're
Hmm.
doing. And they're going to say, okay, yeah, you're talking about this project. I want to invest with you. Here's $250,000. And you're like,
What?
wait, you've been sitting over there the whole time. And they're like, mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, it is
yeah,
because my friends my friends who spend the most, they ain't got no money to invest,
no
and I
money.
mean they spend. And when I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so come on, let's do this investment, and they don't have any money.
No.
And so, so that's why I want to have the money talk
Mhm.
because we need to talk about it. We need to not be embarrassed by our lack of knowledge. Like, and I'm talking about my friends who make a lot of money,
Mhm.
$250,000 a year, money like that, but they have no money to invest, because they are spenders, they're consumers.
Well, what we do
And
is we divert their spending. Instead of spending on, like you said, Louis and Gucci, which I do judge, I will judge you.
I
Yes, I
don't
will.
judge because I like
Um,
Louis and Gucci. I don't have one. I'm hoping that I'm gonna get married again and my husband gonna buy me one
well,
because I ain't
yeah, make
buying
sure
it.
it comes out of his pocket and not yours.
I'm not buying it.
But all
No, I
we
would.
do, like from the financial people I speak with, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm licensed in mortgages. I am not a licensed financial advisor, so take
Hmm.
this, as
Yep.
just an opinion.
Yeah.
Is that my understanding is you divert the spending. So it's not so
Yep.
much that you stop spending, it's you divert it. Instead of
Yep.
shopping for Louis and Gucci, we're shopping for assets. And ultimately, we're shopping for cash flowing assets. On this channel, I've talked about the fact, or on Black women making money, and specifically, I've talked about the fact that a lot of immigrants are coming over, and we've seen
Hmm.
the immigrants coming over, and they're getting a lot of resources, and Black people are upset, at the immigrants, the migrants, etc. Here's the thing. The SBA is starting to relax the requirements for people to start buying businesses. I've talked about this before
Mm,
on this channel. Here's what's going to happen. You have a lot of baby boomers who have good cash flowing businesses. Their kids do not want the businesses, and they're going to be retiring over the next 10 to 15 years. The
mm-hmm,
XBA has already started relaxing the requirements with regards to how much money you need to bring to the table in order to start buying these businesses. Some of these people will even give you creative financing in
mm,
order to purchase these businesses from them. And if we as Black people are not purchasing these businesses, guess who's going to purchase them, whether or not we consider
mm-hmm.
buying them? The migrants that are coming over.
That's right.
So we could sit here and, excuse my French, bitch and complain about what they're getting. They're getting
Mm-hmm,
resources, this, that,
mm-hmm.
and the third. Or we could say, you know what? There is a way for us to work with the migrants if we choose to, or work amongst ourselves, or, divert our spending from
Yes,
Louis
Louis and
and
Gucci,
Gucci, yes, to
Louis Gucci
cash flowing
Prada.
assets. Are we buying real estate? Are we
Yep,
buying stocks? Are we buying businesses? Like those are the three big
absolutely.
things that I think are tried and true right now.
And
I,
the thing I want, and that you make an excellent point about the baby boomers selling their businesses and their
Mhm.
real estate. This is the time right now.
Yeah.
But I want to also mention like that our friends who we think in my area, and he drives a beat up old truck and wears white. Yep,
Yes,
exactly,
yeah,
Doug.
look, the Redneck Millionaires, yeah.
Yes, yes. So Doug, what you just said is what I was about to say. You have friends who you think have no money
Mhm,
because of how they look.
mhm,
Those are your friends with some money. The ones who look like they don't have any and you know they have a
mhm,
decent job, those
mhm.
are your friends who have been investing. They got some money in the stock market, they got some money in their 401k, and they can pull it out and go invest in something with you.
Yep. Not only that, they're married to their first wife. That's what the millionaire next door said. They still got the same wife, and they probably are still living in the
Story. Come
same
on
house.
now. Come on now.
They probably
The,
living in the same house they've been living in for the past 10 to 15 years. Think about the appreciation on that house.
it's a whole nother thing because the other thing that really stressed our community, and I gotta say it, I'm judging now. I
We
wasn't
go, we
judging
go,
about Louis and
we
Gucci, but I'm
judge on
judging
this
now.
channel.
We
It's
judge.
okay.
Okay, we judge on this show.
We
Okay,
judge on this
is
channel.
that our wealth is spread too thin with too many baby mamas and baby daddies. This spread amongst three baby mamas, you ain't got no money. And ladies, when your wealth is spread between, and I'm judging but not judging. I'm
We
saying,
judging.
well, okay. When your wealth is spread so thin, we spread our wealth so thin because our seed is spread all over the place. So
It's the
you
truth,
can't
though.
even get ahead because you got your money going out in all these places. And so many women can't get ahead because they're struggling trying to
Mhm.
take care of kids by partners who may not be providing. But we're making choices
Yeah.
in this community. We're making choices. And so the millionaire next door says that the reason why it did this study, and like she said, these millionaires are millionaires because they've been married to the same person for X amount of years. They built wealth together, not
Mhm.
independently. They stayed in the same home. They bought one home. They stayed there, built equity together.
Mhm.
So marriage does not weaken you. Marriage makes you stronger with the right
With the
partner.
right
And
partner.
oftentimes we in our community, people are not marrying, don't want to get married. But in other cultures, marriage is an economic advantage.
Mhm.
And I read an article that said if you're poor, you should not get married. I need to find this article because it was talking about the fact that marriages used to be really for wealthy, for people who have money, which it still makes sense. Like you need to build assets together and
Mhm.
build up wealth together. And so people think, oh, I'm just gonna stay single. Well, I do know a lot of my friends who got money, they got partners too.
Hmm.
and they build
So,
wealth together.
so there's two things that I say on this channel. One I say all the time, and then a new one for the ladies this evening. I'm a broken record with the ladies with regards to this one thing. The most important financial decision you will ever make is who the father of your children will be. The most important financial decision you will ever put me on Money Talk. Let me be on a panel. I will tell the ladies, like, look, that is the most important financial decision you will ever make is who the father of your children are. So you'd better choose wisely. You better choose wisely. Um, the other thing that you said was, oh, now I've lost it. I forgot what you were talking about before, but
Teeth too thin and having multiple baby
oh, you were talking about
mamas.
the economic. You were talking about people being poor and not getting married. Um, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I've said it on this channel, but not with regards to coupling. On this channel, on Black Women Making Money channel specifically, we believe that you should spend your 16 to age 16 to age 22, 25 at the latest, becoming highly skilled at something. Becoming highly skilled at something. You should also partner and marry a man who is also highly skilled at something. We do not believe that you, as an upwardly mobile Black woman, should be partnering in an unequally yoked setting financially. That's disaster. And it's actually that's data that proves that as well. Um, I also don't believe that a poor man should be dating. That's just me. I don't think that a poor man should be dating for marriage. I know.
But I agree.
So I would rather that let's say he's a young man, right? He's
Mhm.
22 years old, young man. I would rather him take 3, 4, 5 years and become an apprentice, a journeyman, learn tech, learn coding is kind of going out, but maybe learning coding of some sort, get a career coach, something like that. And then let's say he takes 5 years. So from 22 to 27, that's his focus. And by the time he's 28, he will have the pick of women with regards to a good woman that can be the mother to his children in an environment that is going to be healthy for those children and it's going to like produce um, upwardly mobile healthy kids. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's been a lot of news reports about especially Baltimore and places in Los Angeles and California where they're passing these kids in public school that can't read. They just keep passing them and
Teacher. I
passing
used
them.
to be a teacher. That's why I stopped
Oh,
teaching.
that's you. Yeah, you. So.
Teacher in Chicago and in New York and in Abu Dhabi. And in Chicago and New York specifically, New York was my younger years in my
Mhm,
20s, in my 30s and such and 40s. I was in Chicago.
mhm,
And one of the issues that I had was that I was a very strict teacher. I was very stern, even
mhm.
with my principals. If you failed, you failed. I'm not giving you a grade. I don't give grades. You earn grades. And I
That's
literally
why
would
they
have
wouldn't
my
let you teach
principals,
no more.
ma'am, I am not fit to be a school teacher because you got to earn what you get from me. Okay. So my principal used to come to me and she used to beg me, Miss Holmes, can you please change this grade? And I'm like, no, I'm not changing it.
Mhm,
Please, his mother's asked me, her mother's asked me, they're begging, can you change it? Nope. Because when I gave extra credit, they didn't do it. They
mm,
had homework time. I stayed after school, they didn't come. No, ma'am,
mhm,
I don't give grades. I don't change grades. I don't give grades. You earn grades.
mhm,
So, and what I saw teaching in predominantly Black schools were a lot of white teachers who allowed our children to quietly fail.
mhm,
They allowed our children to speak Ebonics. They allowed our children to act ghetto. And I'm just saying, like, this is the truth. And
mhm,
parents aren't paying attention because that's what they expected from those kids. They didn't expect them to speak well. They did not expect them to speak the King's dialect, to learn it, to master it. so that you can code switch and I can say ain't if I want to, and
Mhm.
I can say is you what, right, and then go back to wait a minute, are you serious, right? They didn't teach them that there was a difference. They just allowed them to be where they were. So
Mhm.
those kids, so when you get ready to take that standardized test, on the standardized test, it does not say we was going to school. It says we were going to school.
And they
But
don't
when
know.
your kids are at school and they're saying we was, and the teacher's like, oh, okay, cool, not correcting them, then your child takes that test and they fail, then we wonder why.
Mhm.
I was a teacher and I could they failed our kids and they're failing our kids.
Well, the kids are gonna pay now or they're gonna pay later, and unfortunately, these days, they're gonna pay later and they're gonna pay big time, and it concerns me because we've had this conversation on this channel as well on Black Women Making Money. I'm sorry to all of my other places where we're streaming this, but, um, we've had the conversation that if you, speak Ebonics and you live in a certain zip code, and you have an ethnic name, even the AI in the recruiting and HR, I forget the name of it now, they are discriminating against you. They're discriminating against um, Black people with Black names living in Black zip codes that, they'd say, okay, this is not somebody we want in our organization. And as much as we can say, yeah, well, that's illegal, we shouldn't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. I come from, we're in the real world. So that goes back to me saying the number one financial decision you'll ever make as a woman is who the father of your children is. Because
What you name your children.
and two is what you name your child, and three is the zip code that
Yes.
your children grow up in and the schooling they receive, and they should have a multicultural network that they're around as well, you know? So selfish love is saying, Cheree, if you air it out like that, then they may that may be Teresa's last money talk. It may be, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go in there and talk
Hey,
like that.
hey,
Somebody has
we're
to.
not going to do it like that. Selfish love, money talk is really. I want to just sort of quickly share my inspiration for money talk. So, if you guys know the Property Brothers, one of my besties took me to see the Property Brothers, Drew and whatever is Jonathan, maybe about 5 years ago in
Mhm.
Cleveland, and the tickets were like $150. And she loves them. I'm not. I love their show, but when we got to their live show, they basically did this sketch comedy kind of thing. It was like sketch kind of cheesy, like slapstick kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But they sold out, and it was $150 up for these tickets. So when they did it, it was no theme to it, and I was like, okay, this is cheesy, but so oh well. Fast forward 5, 6 years later, I get invited to go see Jay Shetty. Now Jay Shetty was on my vision board this year. I put this on my vision board. Then I get an invite to go see Jay Shetty. If you don't know Jay Shetty, look him up. So I go and I don't really know what the show is about. Someone had a ticket. So I go and Jay Shetty has the very similar type of sketch show,
Mhm.
right? But his is all about love. The theme is love. And as he did it, all I could think about was money talk. Now I knew I wanted to do this money talk, but I did not know how. I knew the what, I didn't know the how until I saw Jay Shetty do it. And his whole theme was about love. So selfish love, do this, it's really an open forum to really talk about money in a way that empowers people, not judge. We won't be judging. There will be no judgment at this show. We
Teresa,
judging
I
today.
can't come
We
to see.
judging. We judging today, but we will not be judging at Money Talk. However, it's really a place to come for people to really express and not feel judged and be able to openly and freely discuss money and have fun with the conversation about money and learn and
Mhm.
grow from the conversations we have about money.
Great, great. Well, um, I want to say, oh, hello to Denise saying, can't wait to listen to the replay. You're going to enjoy it, Denise. Good to see you here. Sister T on Facebook saying sometimes it's like they're almost scared of them. That is with regard to the schools. Yeah. And again, I was watching the news report, and there was a young lady who was, I think, valedictorian of her polytechnic school in Baltimore, and then she went to, um, it wasn't the Naval Academy, but it was like one of the military schools, the Army, something like that. And she couldn't pass basic math. And she came from a good two-parent household, good in quotes, two-parent household. So yeah, like, um,
Okay. Cheree, I had this young lady that I was mentoring in Chicago back in about 2005. And I was the commencement speaker. I met her because I was a commencement speaker for their National Honor Society induction.
mhm,
They had hired me to do that. And so I met this young lady and I became her mentor, and she was the valedictorian. She spoke.
mhm.
That she was darn near illiterate and she was a valedictorian. This
Ugh,
was in Chicago. She was a valedictorian and she was illiterate.
oh
She
my
could not speak
gosh.
well. She could not speak well. She could not write well. She could not read well. And she was a valedictorian. Now, all that says to me is that she was smart.
Mhm,
She was, but she had not been taught to a level of excellence that will allow her to go into any college, university and excel. And so I told her that they had cheated her. And I tell students all the time who go to predominantly Black schools in the inner city that your children are being cheated.
mhm,
They're being predominantly Black schools in the inner city. And if some people and if you have to live in a one-bedroom apartment to get your child in an excellent school district,
mhm,
that's the sacrifice you should make, because you're investing in your child, and that investment in them is an investment in you. Because when you're of age and older, you may think you don't need your children now, but you will need your children. And if
mhm,
your children do not have the capacity to be able to earn a great living, to be able to support you in your old age, because people think, oh, I got my own money. Baby, your own money don't go so far sometimes. And you need your children. It's not even about having your own money. You need your children to be a success. You
yes.
need that, right?
Oh,
That's how we build long-term wealth. That's how we build and sustain our families, is by keeping our children in the best possible environments to learn, grow, and be of value and service down the road.
I'll one up you. It's not just the income earning ability of your children, it is your children's ability to read, to comprehend. And I'll give you a great example of that. There's another young lady on YouTube that a lot of us watch named Erica Williams. And Erica she talks a lot about money and finance. And one day she was talking about the name, image, likeness contracts that are out there. Have you ever heard of those, the NIL contracts? Terre,
No.
have you heard of those? They are for, so did you know that before, I think last year sometime, that young people in college were not able to profit if they were in any kind of sports, if football, basketball. So these colleges were making billions of dollars on these student athletes, and they weren't able to capitalize on that themselves. So now there's something called name, image, that was overturned, I think it was last year. And now there's something called a name, yeah. Now there's something called a name, image, likeness contract where these young people are able to basically um, sell their name, image, and likeness. And this is when Erica said, in perpetuity to these companies for like $250,000. And I said in the comments, I would never allow my kid to sign something like that. And somebody came back to me and said, but it's $250,000. Are you crazy? Why wouldn't you let them do that? And I said to him, because she said that these contracts are in perpetuity. And I realized that the person didn't know what I was talking about.
Neither do I.
Neither do you.
I don't know that. I'm sorry. I know a lot of
In
words. I don't know
perpetuity
that one.
means forever. So, in other words, imagine if somebody came to you when you were 18 years old, Terre, and said, I'll give you $250,000 but I get to own your name, your image, and your likeness in perpetuity. And you sign that contract without knowing what in perpetuity meant. Then you turn 35, 40 years old, you make it really big, you're the next Elon Musk, and I get to come back to you and say, hey, 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 but I own the name, the image, and the likeness of Terre Williams in perpetuity. And you say, what? I didn't know what that meant. So going back to my original point was about reading comprehension, right? It,
Comprehension. That's I don't. I'm looking at a contract. Oh, what does that word mean? I look it up. I pull on my phone. I look it up.
but
That's
that's
not
still comprehension,
comprehension.
though. That is comprehension if you are looking, if you're reading a legal contract and you don't understand a term, it is comprehension to say, you know what, I don't know what this term means, and it could be very important. Let me pull pull this up, the computer, right? And put in
Yes, I
dictionary,
get
what
you.
does
I get you.
perpetuity mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we as Black people, if you're gonna talk about money talks with Black people, these are the types of mistakes that Black people are making. These are the types of mistakes that Black people are making when they don't know what they are signing, and not depending on a lawyer to tell you, even if you are paying, even if that is your lawyer, not depending on that lawyer to tell you what the contract really means. You read it for yourself, and if there are terms in there you don't understand, either there's usually a glossary in it, or you have to do your own digging.
I don't care how much education you have. I have a lot of education. And
Mhm,
perpetuity is not a word that is commonly used in my life at all. So
mhm,
I've heard it, but I didn't know the meaning of it, right? So
mhm,
I'm going to look that up because
mhm,
anytime I'm reading, I'm going to look up what I don't know. And
mhm,
that was one of the things I always taught my students. I was just telling someone this yesterday. When my students came to me and they were reading and they would say, Miss Holmes, what is this? What is this word? What does this mean? And I would say, I am not Webster. I'm not Webster. Go
mhm.
ask Webster. Like that's not my
And they
job to
would
tell
say,
you what
who?
that word means. And they would be like that because they knew Miss Holmes had a smart mouth. They knew who Webster was. They were going to get Webster or Rogers Thesaurus or something. But
Mhm,
Roget's or Rogers, I think it's Roget's Thesaurus, whatever it
mhm,
was, they knew not to ask me because I taught them to be thinkers and to go
mhm,
get information for themselves. And that's how we build wealth and, and being thinkers, getting information for ourselves, finding out what we don't know, and then hiring the right people or partnering with people who know more than us. Going back to Dennis and
mhm,
I, Dennis knew how to follow my directions to go get us some credit. But we had a conversation today because we're 2 months in, and I was like, "Hey, Dennis, you're getting us business credit." I said, but the other side of being the financial person is that you also need to figure out other ways for us to make money. This is not the only way we can make money. I said we have to have multiple streams of income. I can't play all my roles over here and you only play that role because somebody got to be making us money. I'm the
mhm,
designer. I know how to
mhm,
design but I also know how to make the money and I know how to build a website because I built our website. I did our logo. And I know how to negotiate. These are skills that I've taught myself over the years. So I got a whole bunch of skills. But the problem is that we also have to partner with people who have comparable skills, or either like with Dennis, he has the money and that's what I needed to get started, right?
mhm.
I'm teaching him the rest of the stuff, but somebody has to know it. Somebody has to know it. We can't both can't be
Although she's coming back in a second, everybody.
there I am. But
Yeah.
we can't both be in the dark. So
Hello.
I just got real hot for like 2 seconds. Can't read Roman numerals either.
Yeah, look, a lot of people, even I get stuck on the Roman numerals sometimes. So, but you're
Baby.
right. Like, but I had a grandmother who was a junior high school teacher and ultimately a principal. And I have a mother who was very much like, so I think growing up in the um, late 70s, early 80s was the
Mhm.
best time
It was.
when you're like, Mom, how do you spell XYZ word? And she would say, Go look it up in the dictionary.
Dictionary.
And you
That's right.
actually had to go to the bookcase with the dictionary and all the encyclopedias,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And of course, you could not be smart aleck and say, Well, if I knew how to spell it, I wouldn't be
Yep.
asking. It was
Yeah.
like, because that was like,
Well, we had library
basic to me.
class, and library class taught you those things too.
Yes,
We
yes.
had library
So you
class,
had
which
to
was
like
fun.
literally go to the dictionary to learn how to spell things
Yep.
and to the thesaurus to
Yep.
get different words and
Yes.
I think that
We
a
had to do
lot
real
of that
work.
is lost these days. And
It
I do
is.
think that highly skilled people are going to teach their kids how to do those types of things, that critical thinking. There are different soft skills that are out there that are
Yes.
necessary for all of us to be um, successful. And problem solving, critical thinking, and communication
Hmm.
and leadership, like those are for the primary soft skills that we need in order to be successful. And if we are missing those things, then it's very difficult for us to level up.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean everything that you said. My sister said to me the other day. She said I was talking to Nautica, which is our other sister. She said we were talking about how you have a powerful mouthpiece, and I was like, what does that mean? And she said you know how to talk to people. She said you know how to talk to people who are challenging, like challenge people or challenging people. She said, but you also know how to talk to get anything you want. And I was like, she said, you could talk yourself up on anything and create all kinds of things just by the things you say. And I realized like how powerful my communication skills are,
Mhm,
my negotiation skills, my sales skills. Those are powerful skills that have taken me very far in life. That,
mhm,
as you say, between that 16 to 25, 30 years old, I honed my sales skills. I was in sales for many years in various roles. So
mhm,
and I was a theater major, so that was the communication part. I was a theater major. I was a theater major English minor. So the speaking, the writing, and then the sales have just paid off for me in so many ways. And those are just very strong skills. So we have to teach our children to hone in on the skills that they have, to master those skills that they have. And we got to watch our kids and look at them and say, like, this is what you're really good at. Let's put some time into this. Can't,
yeah.
no, girl, I was just about to say that I was going there, but I said I ain't gonna go there because it's gonna start a whole nother conversation.
Selfish love's
So,
talking about the kids can't write in cursive. Yeah, I heard they took cursive out of the schools years ago. So these kids now cannot read and their signature will be duplicated easily. Yeah, look, well, part of it, I think, is hopefully digital signatures will be protected by the blockchain. So, selfish love, you may want to do
but
some research with
but you
regards to that.
can't do a digital signature if you can't write a signature. And so what she's saying is that, so that was one of my big gripes when I was teaching, was
Hmm.
that my principals were saying that it wasn't important for us to teach cursive. And I told them at that time, I literally told them, I said, that's stupid. I said, because that means they won't be able to read historical documents. You not being able to write your signature is not the big problem. That's not the only big problem. The other big problem is that you now cannot read anything that's historical that was written in cursive. So do you
But
understand what you're
there's
doing
a
to people? And
go ahead,
cursive has been around for centuries.
forever. Hmm.
So how do you stop doing cursive? How do you stop teaching cursive? Who came up with this bright idea to stop teaching cursive when cursive has been around for centuries, forever? Now these kids cannot read historical documents. Like that was not it. I don't know who came up with that. I don't know who these people were. They talk about no
Well,
child left behind. Ooh, baby.
yeah. I will say this. I honestly partially think capitalism has something to do with it because there has been the dumbing down of America. Um, from I would say our generation, Generation X.
Hmm.
to millennials to Gen Z, now I think it's Gen Alpha, there seems to be the dumbing down of America, um, and it's the cream is going to rise to the top. There will be economic segregation. We've had this conversation on this channel before. There will be economic segregation, and you're going to be on one side or the other side. My whole thing is I just want the choice, right? There's nothing that's going to be more important than choices
Yeah.
in the next 50 years.
Hmm.
And with that, Doug is saying, wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah, being able to read historical documents. I didn't think about that either, Doug, but that's a great point. Well, let's wrap up because we've been on for a while. I
I know, and it was
thoroughly
good
enjoyed
too.
my conversation. I know we kind of went in all sorts of
Mhm.
directions tonight,
Yeah.
but tell
Thank you,
how
Cheree.
people can get in touch with you if they want to learn about you, if they want to be a part of Money Talk. Oops. Uh-oh.
Lost my earbud, but that's my earbud, but that's okay. So if they want to, well, they can join my email list. They can go to TerreHolmes.com. So it's my name, TerreHolmes.com. Join my email list. And you can also just go on my contact form if you need a speaker to talk about wealth building through real estate. If you are looking for someone to sit on a panel to talk about these various topics as well, or if you want to be on my email list, you can go to TerreHolmes.com. If you want to, if you have a property that you would like to rent out, and it's a really nice property, I'm talking about like really nice, and you want to rent it out and have someone like us who's going to take really good care of it, you can go to Oasis Lux Living, Luxe living.com, and that's where our midterm short-term rental business platform lines there. And then I'm on Instagram at Terre Holmes, and I'm on Facebook at the Terre Holmes. I just want to add, you ladies look lovely.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thanks, Doug. We appreciate it.
we appreciate that. Thank you. This has been a good stream. Awesome. Thank you
Don't
so
forget to
much.
like the don't for everybody, don't forget to like the stream as well. Please like the
Yeah.
stream. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Please like and share, and please
Yes.
connect with me. I will I will launch that membership for women who want to learn how to invest in real estate, specifically around wholesaling and creative financing. I will be launching that. It's going to be probably in the next 6 months. Where I'm putting it off because this is priority right now. But just reach out to me if you have some questions. We can schedule a Zoom call if you want to talk about some deals that you're working on, or if I can answer any questions. I'll do a 15-minute sort of consult or whatever. But that's how you get in contact with me, TerreHolmes.com or Oasis Lux, Luxe living.com.
And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We had a wonderful conversation with Cheree. Definitely get on her email list. If you need funding for your deals, I hope that you will contact me, SimpliFunded.com. We are here to help you, especially with the BRRRR strategy, especially with the BRRRR strategy, which stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So it is a way for you to buy 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 50 doors. And that way you can use that in order to build a long term investment portfolio. Uh, you can also use those properties for short term rentals or midterm rentals as well. But that's really, I think, where we're going to spend our time really focusing on people who want to, within the next 6 to 12 months, buy their first BRRRR property, and then work with you to build your portfolios. So I'm
Awesome.
looking for my vision. My vision is to have a group of 200 people over the course of the next 5 years that are purchasing their first BRRRR property, and then second, third, fourth, and you're buying one every year at a minimum.
Mhm.
So if you know somebody who is interested in that, you can contact me at contact@simplifunded.com and say, hey, Cheree, I want to be on that list. And we're going to start launching that in the next month or so. I have my partners together. we're just trying to get through a couple of little things that we're putting
Mhm.
together, and then we're going to do a beta test with 3 people who want to be our first 3 people to go through our process and buy your first spur property.
I
So,
love it. I wanted to add, I
mhm,
mentioned this earlier when we were talking about networking, but I am
mhm,
serious.
uh-huh,
If you know anyone who has a property that is distressed in some way, someone just died, someone's getting divorced, they need to sell quickly, someone is upside down in their mortgage, they owe more on it than it's worth,
mhm,
or they're behind on their mortgage and they're about to go into foreclosure, or they're in foreclosure, like reach out to me because we can help those kind of people sell quickly, get out of not ruin their credit from a foreclosure, sell a property quickly no matter what condition it's in, no matter where it is. That's what I am looking for, and I'm willing to give a fee for that. So $1,000 to find, if you bring that deal to me and we close it. So those are kind of things that I'm looking for in my business as well. And hopefully your listeners, whoever's out there, if you know of someone, don't let people lose their properties, and don't let people just sort of sit on properties forever and lose money
mhm.
paying taxes and mortgages when no one's in the house. So that's what I'm looking to do. So thank you, Cheree.
You are
You,
welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here
yeah,
for Money Monday. And I will see you, ladies. Pro Dumpster Diver is
ladies
here
and
as well.
gents.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, because Doug is in the
We
building.
got a
Yes.
nice old compliment. We can acknowledge that man.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much. And we will see you all. Well, y'all know I'll be back in a couple of days to continue yapping about real estate, money, et cetera, et cetera. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening. Thank you.